Hello, my lovely soul flowers. I know I'm a little bit delayed in this Mercury retrograde video. Life happens, and so does retrograde, apparently. So before I get started with the tarot reading, I did want to give you a little quick rundown of the retrograde. Mercury retrograde runs from November 9th, and it starts in Sagittarius, and then it ends on November 29th, ending in Scorpio. So at some point in the middle, I don't know the exact date, the Mercury retrograde is transitioning from Sagittarius to Scorpio. And that, if you're not aware, is a lot of emotion. And there's going to be a lot of stuff that is coming up. I don't say that to scare you, though. I know retrograde can be a scary thing for a lot of people, mostly because of the popularity it gets for being like a time of chaos, a time where things just don't work out, things come back around. But I don't want that to scare you. What this retrograde in particular is doing, it's wanting you to reflect. So if you just think about retrograde as reflection, that would be a good way to shift your mindset around it, because it's not meant to be scary. It's not meant to bring up things that are like it's going to cause you a lot of pain. That's not what this is at all. What it's wanting you to do is just acknowledge whatever is coming up to the surface and acknowledge it in a way that is going to either heal it or allow you to release it. One thing that was pointed out to me is that along with this reflection, it's also important to look at how you react to what is coming up. Maybe that's all that needs to be paid attention to, is how your reaction is and what you can do differently. Now, they also say not to start anything new during a retrograde, so keep that in mind. I do want you to know, though, that you have free will, and that if you feel like you need to start something, it doesn't hurt to try. The retrograde just isn't the best energy to really start anything new. So if you can hold off until after the retrograde, that would probably be better. But like I said, you have free will. So this tarot reading today is just a general collective reading regarding the Mercury retrograde. I'm not breaking it down into sign. I'm not breaking it down into elements. I'm not doing any of that. We are just going to go ahead and see what message Spirit has regarding this retrograde period for you today. If you want to dig deeper into the retrograde, you can book a personal reading with me, and I'm more than happy to help you navigate that. Or there's other information. I would just go through your favorite astrologer. I've seen a lot of videos already, so I know they're out there. And if you aren't aware yet, my name is Stacy. I am a psychic empath and energy healer. As I have mentioned, you can work with me one-on-one. Just head to the link in my bio, and I do believe I have it linked in the description of this video also. We start off with the Tower and introspection, which is the Hermit in traditional tarot. And if you came from my TikTok reading, this is going to make sense because you are recently coming off of a Tower moment. If you didn't see that reading, I highly recommend going to check it out. But you have recently come down from this Tower moment, and now you are in this moment of being in a hermit mode, introspection, and that does fit in with the reflection theme of Mercury retrograde. What they are advising right now is to reflect on all that has happened up to this point. Whenever you see this video, reflect on what has happened up to this point. You didn't have the easiest few months, and I think it's safe to say that a lot of us really didn't, but none of that was for no reason. You went through everything you did for a reason. It was for a much better reason, and you just might not be able to see it right now, but just know it was for the betterment of you. So let's see what other information we have regarding this retrograde. While I was shuffling, I was getting this image of this really big stone archway. It wasn't connected to a fence, but it was, you were like, okay. You have plain land, so we'll say grass. I didn't exactly see the details, but one end was really dark and stormy. The other end was like that calm after the storm where the clouds really haven't cleared out yet, but it's starting to get lighter. But right in front of you is that big stone archway and a cloud in the middle of it. So you can't see what it is you're going to be walking into as you enter this stone archway. And I feel like you are getting ready to move forward in this aspect, but there's this hesitation here. And this could be coming up with the retrograde itself. But what I'm feeling with hesitation isn't so much fear of the unknown, because you don't know what's on the other side of that archway, but more so fear of what happens if you fail. So we've got the monarch, which is the emperor. Queen of Swords, Nine of Cups, and Eight of Pentacles. So with these two, the Emperor and the Queen of Swords, what they are reminding you of is that you should not let anybody dull your sparkle. With this retrograde, what is coming up for you in this time is very uncomfortable, and there's going to be a lot of challenging beliefs for you. I do feel as if before this retrograde started with that Tower moment, it really brought clarity to the situation of you are on your way to do something that just most people don't do, or you're going to do it in a different way. And not really everybody sees your vision because they haven't seen it actually come to life. Because I'm not trying to speak for everyone, but in the context of this reading, they are seeing it through their eyes of if it didn't actually happen, then it's never going to happen. And it's just a pipe dream that you were just dreaming. But they want to remind you that your dreams can be reality. Okay. And you are going to have to find your own way. And that's what you're doing. So don't let anyone dull your energy. Don't let anyone try to convince you otherwise. You're doing the right thing. And this is just confirmation for you, but you just have to find your own pathway to do it. You were not meant to do whatever it is you're going towards the same way as everyone else does it. And you might even just be on a completely different path altogether. And your people are out there. You just haven't found them yet to help support you on this journey. Do not let the lack of support prevent you from going after your dreams. Those people who are meant to be with you at once you get to your dream are going to be there. And this is all just part of the journey. And on the other side of that stone arch, you do have your Nine of Cups. You're going to be very content with this, but it's not going to come with no cost. You are going to have to work towards it. This is not something that is just going to be handed to you, but you know that already. You know that the things that you want are going to take hard work and that you're going to have to do it, but you're also willing to do it. And I do feel like that. So just know you're headed towards your emotional contentment. If, like, I know right now it might not seem like it with whatever retrograde is going to bring up for you, but you are on your way to that emotional contentment. But you do have to do the emotional work along with the work to bring in your manifestation before this is going to happen. As you walk through that stone archway through the clouds, it's going to continue to be cloudy, but this Mercury retrograde is in fact going to clear that up for you, but you need some patience around it. You've got Temperance, and then you've got Six of Cups. The Six of Cups is normally a card of nostalgia and the past. And what I'm showing here, what I'm being shown as you navigate through this cloudy time, which is the Mercury retrograde, you aren't seeing things fully clearly, but you're kind of just testing the waters a little bit, figuring out what is going to happen if you do this, what happens if you do that. And you're being very cautious. Don't make your decisions with rose-colored glasses is what I'm hearing. If you're going to make a decision, make it from a place of clarity, not from something you want to believe. I feel like there might be something coming up that you're going to want to believe the best in, but there is a hidden truth there. And unless the full truth is going to come out, it's not worth it to give it any effort. And what that means is that you need to follow your intuition on that one. If something feels off, it's for a reason, and you need to pay attention to that feeling. They don't want you to lose hope in this. This is a star, because right on the other side of everything, you've got Nine of Pentacles and Ace of Swords also. This is kind of just shining light on the darker part of the retrograde of don't be easily fooled by something that is not actually meant to be there. That's what it's for. That's what it's coming up for. They want to see how you react, and they not so much just want to see it. They want to see how they want you to reflect on how you're going to react to this. Is this a setback, or is this just bringing to light how you used to do things and kind of encouraging you to go about things a different way, maybe even with just a different mindset? And that's something to think about, because we already had the Nine of Cups. That's emotional contentment. Now you got Nine of Pentacles. So now you got material contentment along with the Ace of Swords. And that's just this brand new beginning to become something beautiful and flourishing and abundant. You're headed in the right direction, but you do need patience on this journey, and you need patience with yourself too. But you have to be smart when it comes to the decisions you're making during this time frame. There is a cloudiness that can come with the retrograde, but please just know that after that, things will clear up. Then after those ones, we do have the Four of Cups. And we're going to get more cards on this one because I think where you might be sitting at right now is in this discontentment of not being happy with how things have turned out this far. In fact, I think you might even be feeling like I cannot go through another setback. I am so tired of fighting against a wall to bring in my manifestations and being met with nothing. And I feel that very strongly. So I do feel like you are sitting in this Four of Cups energy. But let's get you a little bit more information on that so we can help get you out of it. So for this part, bear with me. I have never explained anything like this before. But with this Four of Cups, you've got 3 cups in front of you, and that is what you are focusing on. But the cup in hand, you're still not pleased with it. Because if these 3 cups in front of you, if they're not anything, what means this Four of Cups is going to be something? You've got the Knight of Cups after that. This is that cup you're holding, and they want you to charge forward with it. So this cup, this is the important cup. This is the cup that you are, it's going to bring you, we'll leave it at that for right now. But with the Knight of Cups, what that means is charging forward even if you feel vulnerable. And I do feel like that's what Mercury retrograde is doing, is bringing up this vulnerability within you and encouraging you to shed the armor, to allow yourself to open up a little bit and to charge forward anyway, even if it's scary, even if it hurts, even if emotions aren't your thing. They need you to move forward anyway. You've got 2 of Pentacles after that. And what 2 of Pentacles is a need to balance something, and you're focusing on one thing when you should be focusing on another thing also. And I do feel as if you might be clinging to the old ways that you were doing things. After those, you've got the King of Wands, the Knight of Wands, and the Page of Wands. I got to be careful with this card. These all came out one right after another, but it's going backwards from the top to the bottom. What I'm being shown is that you have the bigger picture in mind, and I think that's what you're focusing on so much, but you need to focus on the steps that you need to take to get there. And with the Page of Wands, that is a message coming through. I do feel like this comes after the retrograde. I will say that, if not during. So perhaps something that comes up that needs your attention is going to bring the clarity that you need in order to step into your Knight of Wands and come up with your plan to move forward. Something is missing here. I'm hearing that you are missing a piece of information. We'll dig into that. But it's good to have the bigger picture in hand, but you do need to realize that it's going to take baby steps to get there. So don't be so discouraged if this doesn't happen right away. That's just how everything works. It doesn't all happen right away. You need to take steps to get to there. But let's figure out what it is that hasn't been shown to you yet. Maybe they'll give us a little bit of insight on that. Okay, so the short answer, no, they're not going to tell us what that is. So sorry, that is still going to be a mystery, but I think that might be because it's highly personal. It's not going to be the same for everybody. But you've got the Chariot, the Fool, Meditation, which is the equivalent to the Hanged Man, and the Two of Swords. Whatever that information coming through is, however you receive it, that's a surprise. That's what they're telling me. It's a surprise. You have no idea what's coming. You're just going to have to trust in the divine and what they're bringing to you. It's going to create movement for you, but it's going to allow you to take a chance. I feel like this piece of information that's coming in is really going to give you a lot of confidence, and you're going to be like, yes, I feel like there's absolutely no hesitation. But right now, you are meant to sit in this Hangman energy and this Two of Swords energy of not fully being able to make a decision to move forward. So obviously there's something on your mind that you are questioning, but they want you to know that it's just something you have to sit with right now and to really weigh it out, really think about it in any way you see fit. It doesn't have to go a certain way. Remember that with the Queen of Swords, you find your own way. And the Two of Swords, I don't know if you can see it there, but her eyes are closed and her eyes are covered. So you're not meant to know what the next move forward is. Not yet anyway. Let's get a little bit more. This time frame, I don't do time frames in tarot. I don't like to do time frames, period. I feel like they let people down and it's just false hope, but that's my own practice. I'm not speaking for everybody else. But the time frame, I feel like this is more towards the end of the retrograde. So let's see how the retrograde's going to wrap up for you. You've got your 8 of Wands, the Sun, 7 of Wands, 3 of Wands, 10 of Swords, and we're going to hold off right there because this ending is beautiful. Towards the end of this retrograde, if not at the end, things are really going to start taking off. I feel like this is, I'm hearing calm before the storm. So maybe this meditation energy, the hanged man energy that you're sitting in is for a reason, to remind you the importance of taking things slow. I do want to remind you that the winter season naturally is meant to be a time of rest and recovery and replenishing yourself so that you can be born anew in the spring. I know in at least American culture, this is a time of a lot of stress because of all the holidays coming up. This is just a friendly reminder to enjoy every moment, even when things get stressful. They do want you to realize that. But right now, I do feel like there's a lot of emphasis on just allowing the reflection to happen. Allow yourself to really look at how things have gone this far and how you want things to be in the future. Because like I said, things are really going to start taking off, but it's taking off in a good way. The sun is the most positive card in the deck, as I'm sure you know. You're taking off into brighter days ahead. But with the 7 of Wands, you are going to have to defend yourself, but you're going to be able to without any problem. It's not going to be like defend yourself as in you're very defensive and coming from a place of emotional imbalance. You're going to be able to stand in your power and be proud of who you are and who you've become, because you know what you've already been through, but you know you now have the tools to sit in that and to use it to your advantage for the betterment of yourself and for the world. Then you've got 3 of Wands and 10 of Swords. You're basically going to be setting yourself free. Whatever is going on in this retrograde is going to clear a pathway for you, and you are finally going to be set free. The full transformation is finally going to set, and you are going to be able to finally move forward. And those hard times, you're going to just be able to go through them with ease because you now have those tools to get past that. Whatever challenges are going to come up, they're going to come up. I'm not sugarcoating that for you, but you're going to be able to do it. You're going to be able to fight those challenges with no problem whatsoever. And what would be coming, and like I said, I don't have time frames. Okay, no time frames, but this is within the future at some point in your life. You've got 2 of Cups, the Magician, and the King of Pentacles. 2 of Cups is 2 of Cups is a card of love, but I also see it as true balance. Equal give and take, regardless of what it is that you're doing, whether it be through love, whether it be through work, whether it just be between you and yourself, it's equal balance. And like I said, the Magician, you have the tools, and you know you have the tools to create the world that you want to live in, to create your own reality. And you know that, and you're going to be able to tune into yourself in order to help make that happen. And the King of Pentacles, that's just the most abundant card in the deck. That is like, you're going to have it. You're going to have everything you want. But this retrograde, like I've said a few times already, is very significant in your journey. And as long as you do the work, you're willing to put in that work on yourself, things are going to work out in your favor. But you have to be willing to put in that work. So that is the end of that reading. Good luck during this retrograde. And just remember, be patient with yourself. It's not as scary as it seems.